So I want to really briefly address this August Alsino and Zu situation. First of all, the hottest gay couple, y'all trying it. Baby, y'all tried it with it. Let's not forget about Jamel and OBO. But anyway, I feel like if we're gonna talk about this, we have to talk about this with nuance. And if you're not willing to play the whole tape and talk about all of the dynamics that are at play, all of the other working parts, then why even have the conversation? I talked about this in a previous video how a lot of males in a patriarchal binary society are oftentimes groomed to be led by their genitals. So if we're not going to speak about this with that type of grace, with that type of understanding that a lot of these young males are being brought up to be led by their genitalias in the society that we live in, that is absent of a divine feminine, that is absent of the reverence to our mother and our church and our politics, and that nurturing, thoughtful energy that creates space. Like, they're not groomed like that. They're groomed to be predatory. They're groomed to be led by their genitals. So I want to lead with that. Then the other part that I want to say is youth are sexualized. This is why we have teen heartthrobs. This is why we have teenage sex symbols. This is a reality in a capitalist society that is driven by aesthetics and optics that's very superficial. And so youth are often at their prime, and you think that they are intelligent enough to realize that even before their brain finishes developing. So you don't think that Zoo looked at August while he was 17 and already probably sexually active with older people and said, "Ooh, August Alsino, this is a catch. He got coin. He's stable. He's attractive." You don't think that Zoo looked being groomed as a child to be led by his genitals as a male in society? You don't think that he looked at August Alsino and said, "Yes, this is a catch"? And so to try to make August Alsino out to be some type of groomer is ridiculous when we know how this nation prizes youth, how it capitalizes off of youth, how it exploits youth. And so I just think that there's a greater conversation that needs to be had, and just simply calling August Alsino a groomer because his brain had literally just finished developing. He was about 27 years old. This child was 17 going on 18. Back in the day, before we came into colonialism and all that, baby, in the village and in the tribes, when you was ready, you was ready. And we not finna act like every child or every young person who is 17, 18 years old is not out here a little bit more seasoned and a little bit more out there than some people who are older. Yeah, so we're not gonna act like that dynamic does not exist. So I just want us to be able to have this conversation with nuance. When I was younger, was very attracted to older people. I'm not gonna lie, there was a bit of grooming that went on, as I explained in society. There was a bit of grooming that went on. But when I got older and I was on my own, I was attracted to older men because I saw them as stability. I saw them as someone who had the capacity to teach me something. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of times in this reality, women are attracted to older men because women mature faster than men. At least that's what they say. Sometimes that dynamic is actually a balance. The child was getting ready to be 18 years old, was old enough to fight and die for this country. So I just feel like we need to talk about that with the nuance of remembering that when we were young, when we were in our prime, a lot of us wanted us an older buck who had some stability, who had some notoriety, who gave us, like access. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, there's that conversation. Do I think grooming is disgusting? Absolutely, but it is a reality. And when we address this conversation, we need to address it with that type of thoughtfulness, and just instead of just trying to villainize the person who's older without talking about the conversation with context and nuance. So yeah, then there's that. He's literally like 32 now, and this child is 22. That's a 10-year age difference. I have dated people that I was 10 years older than. Yeah, and it was a beautiful relationship. Absolutely beautiful. Will never trade those moments. I was in love. Yes, I was. A man, a woman. Let him, let her. And they taught me. They taught me things. They taught me things about myself. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's possible. Anyway, that's all I got for this video. I love y'all. Lay Lim Layla Nation. Purple ones. Rise.